Andrea Salinas is no stranger to politics. The Democrat from Lake Oswego is running for Congress in Oregon's new 6th congressional district. The daughter of a Mexican immigrant, Salinas has been a legislative aide for Senator Harry Reid, Congressman Pete Stark, and Congresswoman Darlene Hooley. She served in the Oregon legislature starting in 2017, rising to majority whip of the House Democratic caucus before resigning to focus on her bid for Congress. Andrea Salinas, welcome to Eye on Northwest Politics.
Well, thank you for having me, Ken.
Simple question first. Why are you running?
Oh, thanks, Ken. Yeah, I'm running for a lot of the reasons you just mentioned, right? My dad came over from Mexico when he was 5 to work in the fields to build a better life for himself. And he always taught me the value of hard work. I became the first person in my family to graduate from college with a 4-year degree, free of strapping debt, and really want the same for my daughter and her future generation. And I feel like too many Oregonians today feel like they're working as hard as they ever have and just not really getting ahead. And whether this is, expanding or protecting reproductive health care and the ability to make healthcare decisions for themselves, whether it's, seeing a planet and a climate future that is sustainable, whether it's, finding good paying jobs, the lack of a federal paid family medical leave really prohibits folks from returning to work or for, having to care for loved ones and having to make really hard choices all the time. And so this is truly the reason I'm running, is to help level the playing field for Oregonians who, like I said, are just working harder than they ever have and not getting ahead because things just aren't fair at this point. So I'm doing this for my daughter, Amelia, who's 17, her generation, and those who come after. And so I'm really excited for a lot of the work that we've done in the legislature and taking that work, because I do think, Congress can learn from some of the bipartisan things we've done here.
The new 6th congressional district was created after the 2020 census. It includes rural Polk and Yamhill counties and parts of Clackamas, Marion, and Washington counties. Also includes the cities of Lake Oswego, Tigard, Salem, McMinnville. This district would have voted for Joe Biden had it existed then. You're a progressive running against a conservative, Mike Erickson, who has an early lead in a couple of early polls. How do you win this district?
Well, I win it by really talking to voters and making sure that I'm addressing their needs and the things that they're talking about. I've been in the district talking to the community, talking to mayors, county commissioners in Polk, Marion, all across Washington and Clackamas counties, Sherwood, Salem, Independence, McMinnville. And the things that I'm hearing right now really are, that people want us to tackle the cost of living and strengthen the economy, to lower the cost of healthcare, to strengthen our supply chains, to make sure that we're lowering the cost of their utility bills and energy, and really to make sure that they have what they need so that they can return to work in a full and complete way as workers. And those are things that I've been working on here in the state legislature as, chair of the House Healthcare Committee. I think I have a really good grasp on kind of healthcare costs. I was the first person I think it was in the nation to implement a bill that lowers the cost of prescription drugs for everyone with its transparency. It really provides transparency around drug price manufacturing. And so those are the types of things that I think it's how I win. It's talking about the issues, making sure that I'm addressing the issues that Oregonians and folks and voters in this district really care about.
And as you mentioned, the economy and inflation, that's a #1 concern. You got into this a little bit, but what are some other aspects of your plan to deal with that?
Yeah, thank you. So I think, Congress has already started doing some of this past summer. Congressional Democrats in a bipartisan way passed the CHIPS and Science Act, which will, lower costs, create jobs, strengthen supply chains. Semiconductor chip manufacturing is the foundation of our supply chain issues right now. And we have a co-benefit that we will counter the supply chain issues that we have with China with this. I think, it's things like this. It's making sure that we are addressing, again, the cost of living by lowering healthcare costs, prescription drug costs, making sure that insurance costs, the premiums around insurance costs are more affordable, and then energy and utility costs. So families, these are hitting families' budgets right now, and this all affects their bottom line. And whether it's a small business or a middle class family, and so these are things that were directly tackled in the Inflation Reduction Act. And I was really excited that Democrats took this on and that they were able to pass this. We could obviously do more. We're investing right now under the Inflation Reduction Act in green energy jobs. It'll produce thousands of jobs here in Oregon, good union paying jobs for families. So making sure we build that in a real meaningful way. But yeah, and at the same time making sure that energy costs are going down. So these are the types of things that I am truly excited to tackle as the next member of Congress.
So you would have voted for the Inflation Reduction Act had you been in Congress at the time?
Oh, absolutely. It's a nationwide bill that will benefit not just Oregon, but states across the nation who really want to take advantage of it. And again, I think it does two things. It helps lower costs for families. It also helps put us on the right track for a clean energy future.
I talked with your opponent in this race, Mike Erickson, on this show recently, and he talked about the partisan attacks that have marked other campaigns. Take a listen to this.
I'm just fed up with it. I think that if we really want to solve the problems that are most devastating this country, we're going to have to work across the party lines and work together.
With the political landscape today, is that even possible?
Oh, I think so, Ken. I wouldn't be running if I didn't think that I could work across party lines. And yeah, I think, people and voters and constituents in this district are worried about polarization because it really prevents us from, and members of Congress from getting things passed. And my voters want Congress to get things done. They want a representative who will commit to working on addressing, economic issues, lowering those costs that I was just talking about, and creating those good paying union jobs, and really protecting our right to make our own decisions around healthcare and abortion care. And so I would say, yes, they want to see Congress deliver, and when they elect me to do that, that is what I will commit to doing. And so I've worked across the aisle here in Oregon with many different legislators at the state level. So, working on healthcare issues, working on environmental issues. I have, a relationship with, a couple of members of Republicans in Congress right now. And so if they want to continue to kind of, build those divides and really start working on things to deliver, I'm eager to do it too.
We've got less than a minute here, but the Democrats have a slight majority in the House, a razor-thin edge in the Senate. How do you view this race from a national perspective?
We need to win it. I mean, this is a race that, Democrats need to win. And I am devoted to, again, really addressing the needs of this district in order to take their voice and their concerns to Congress. And I think it's a lot of the things that Congress is working on right now. And we can start to do more. So, things like lowering costs around healthcare, making sure that we protect the abortion protections and reproductive healthcare protections we have now, if not expand them, creating good paying jobs, and making sure that we protect our climate for generations to come. So I am really excited to continue to do this work with the Democrats that we have in Congress, and look forward to becoming the next member of the congressional delegation from the 6th District.
Andrea Salinas, thank you for joining me on Eye on Northwest Politics.
Thank you so much, Ken.